Welcome back to another high-yield practice session. Today, we are breaking down day 51 of our challenge with 50 brand new, curated questions covering science, history, technology, and engineering. Let's challenge our assumptions, secure this learning milestone, and master these concepts with absolutely zero repetitions. Get ready, because question 1 starts right now. Question 1. Which thermodynamic state parameters define the physical triple point of pure water? The correct option is A, 0.01 degrees Celsius and 611.66 pascals. The triple point is the unique temperature and pressure where solid, liquid, and gas coexist in stable equilibrium. Question 2. According to Watson-Crick rules, which chemical base pairing holds true in double-stranded DNA? The correct option is B, adenine-thymine, cytosine-guanine. Adenine always pairs with thymine via 2 hydrogen bonds, while cytosine pairs with guanine via 3 hydrogen bonds. Question 3. Which geological feature holds the record of being the tallest volcano in the entire solar system? The correct option is B, Olympus Mons. Located on Mars, this massive shield volcano stands over 21 kilometers high, making it nearly 2.5 times taller than Mount Everest. Question 4. Which historical naturalist first proposed natural selection as the primary mechanism for biological evolution? The correct option is C, Charles Darwin. He introduced this groundbreaking theory in his 1859 book, explaining how species gradually adapt to their environments over generations. Question 5. What is the term designated to represent the complete genetic makeup or sequence of an individual organism? The correct option is B, genotype. The genotype refers to the complete inherited genetic sequence, while the phenotype represents the actual observable physical traits. Question 6. Which chemical functional group features a central carbon atom double bonded to an oxygen atom? The correct option is B, carbonyl. A carbonyl group features a carbon-oxygen double bond and serves as the defining structural backbone for aldehydes and ketones. Question 7. Which fundamental quantum law asserts that position and momentum cannot be precisely determined at the same time? The correct option is B, Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Formulated by Werner Heisenberg, this law states that measuring a particle's position more precisely limits the accuracy of its momentum. Question 8. What molecule acts as the major inhibitory neurotransmitter in the mature mammalian central nervous system? The correct option is B, GABA. Gamma-aminobutyric acid suppresses neural activity by binding to receptors and hyperpolarizing neurons to prevent action potentials. Question 9. What represents the universally accepted average salinity ratio of Earth's oceans? The correct option is B, 3.5%. This standard metric means that every single kilogram of seawater contains roughly 35 grams of dissolved salts, mostly sodium chloride. Question 10. Which ancient legal codification popularized the famous retributive concept of an eye for an eye? The correct option is B, Code of Hammurabi. Enacted around 1754 BC by King Hammurabi of Babylon, this ancient legal text contains 282 laws carved directly on public stone pillars. Question 11. What physical speed threshold is defined by the dimensionless parameter Mach 1? The correct option is B, speed of sound. The Mach number represents the ratio of an object's speed to the local speed of sound, with Mach 1 meaning exact acoustic velocity. Question 12. Which key hormone is secreted by the adrenal medulla to trigger physiological fight or flight reactions? The correct option is B, adrenaline. This hormone instantly increases cardiac output, dilates airways, and boosts blood glucose levels to prepare the body for immediate physical action. Question 13. What standard hardness rating is assigned to the soft silicate mineral talc on the Mohs scale? The correct option is A, 1. Talc defines the absolute baseline of the Mohs hardness scale, representing the softest mineral which can be easily scratched by a fingernail. Question 14. What is the estimated age of our universe based on cosmic microwave background measurements? The correct option is C, 13.8 billion years. Cosmologists calculated this age by evaluating the expansion rate of space and studying precise temperature variations in ancient background radiation. Question 15. Which famous Greek philosopher from Athens served as the personal tutor to Alexander the Great? The correct option is C, Aristotle. Beginning in 343 BC, Aristotle instructed the young Macedonian prince in political science, medicine, natural philosophy, and logic. Question 16. Which category of immunoglobulins is most abundant in human blood serum? The correct option is C, IgG, making up roughly 75 to 80% of all human serum antibodies. IgG plays a major role in protecting the body against bacteria and viruses. Question 17. Which highly anticipated subatomic particle was experimentally confirmed at CERN in 2012? The correct option is B, Higgs boson. The discovery confirmed the existence of the Higgs field, which is responsible for giving mass to elementary subatomic particles. Question 18. What is the value of the universal ideal gas constant when expressed in standard SI units? The correct option is C, 8.314 joules per mole Kelvin. This constant represents the scale relating kinetic energy of gas molecules directly to absolute temperature. Question 19. Which specialized plant vascular tissue is primarily responsible for the upward transport of water and mineral ions? The correct option is B, xylem. Xylem structures utilize physical transpiration pull to draw water up from roots against gravity, while phloem distributes organic nutrients. Question 20. Which stellar remnant is left behind when a medium-mass star up to 8 solar masses sheds its envelope? The correct option is C, white dwarf. After core fusion ceases and outer layers form a planetary nebula, a hot, dense carbon-oxygen core remains, supported by electron degeneracy pressure. Question 21. What is the term for the small, ultra-fast volatile memory storage buffer built directly inside a CPU chip? The correct option is C, cache memory. Processor cache uses rapid static RAM to keep frequently used data close to the core, preventing delays from slower system memory. Question 22. Which common industrial greenhouse gas has the highest warming potential over a 100-year scale? The correct option is C, sulfur hexafluoride. This chemical features a global warming potential 23,500 times greater than carbon dioxide, making it a highly destructive atmospheric pollutant. Question 23. In which calendar year did the United Nations officially begin operations following the ratification of its charter? The correct option is C, 1945. The United Nations officially formed on October 24, 1945, after a majority of early global powers and world signatories ratified the historic UN Charter. Question 24. Which accessory digestive organ is physiologically designated to store and concentrate bile? The correct option is B, gallbladder. Bile created by the liver is routed to the gallbladder, which filters out water to concentrate the digestive fluids before passing them into the intestine. Question 25. Which atmospheric scattering phenomenon causes a clear daytime sky to appear blue? The correct option is C, Rayleigh scattering. This phenomenon scatters shorter wavelengths of light, like blue, far more intensely than longer red wavelengths when sunlight hits atmospheric gases. Question 26. What is the approximate half-life of carbon-14, which is used for archaeological dating? The correct option is B, 5,730 years. Because carbon-14 decays into nitrogen at this precise, predictable rate, scientists can accurately date biological materials up to 50,000 years old. Question 27. Which freshwater lake is the largest on the African continent by surface area? The correct option is C, Lake Victoria. Spanning nearly 60,000 square kilometers, it stands as Africa's largest body of freshwater and is shared by Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania. Question 28. Which index measures the average change over time in prices paid by consumers for a representative basket of goods? The correct option is B, Consumer Price Index. Known commonly as the CPI, this index tracks price movements across core retail items to serve as the main metric for economic inflation. Question 29. What type of genetic material serves as the structural genome for retroviruses? The correct option is C, ribonucleic acid. Retroviruses contain an RNA core and rely on a unique enzyme called reverse transcriptase to splice viral genetic code directly into host cell DNA. Question 30. Which type of volcano is characterized by broad, gently sloping sides built of successive fluid lava flows? The correct option is B, shield volcano. Formed by runny, low-viscosity basaltic lava, these eruptions travel immense distances before hardening, creating a wide, protective shield profile. Question 31. Which ancient Greek epic poet is traditionally credited with composing the Iliad and the Odyssey? The correct option is B, Homer. Composed during the 8th century BC, these massive epic poems laid down foundational cultural, literary, and mythological principles for Western civilization. Question 32. Which unit is used to measure the logarithmic intensity or loudness of a sound wave? The correct option is B, decibel. Decibels measure acoustic power scale logarithmically relative to the lowest baseline threshold of typical human hearing capacity. Question 33. Which endocrine gland is commonly referred to as the master gland for its regulatory role? The correct option is C, pituitary gland. Situated at the base of the brain, this vital gland secretes major trophic hormones that guide the thyroid, adrenal glands, and reproductive systems. Question 34. Which historic diplomatic treaty signed in 1648 brought an end to the 30 Years' War? The correct option is B, Peace of Westphalia. This monumental accord established modern state sovereignty rules, stopping countries from freely interfering with internal foreign affairs. Question 35. At which physical electrode does chemical oxidation occur in an electrochemical cell? The correct option is B, anode. Oxidation involves the fundamental shedding of electrons, which always occurs at the anode, while reduction gains electrons at the cathode. Question 36. Which vertebrate class is characterized by having an aquatic larval stage and a terrestrial adult stage? The correct option is B, amphibia. Amphibians hatch in water using gills for respiration, later undergoing full physiological metamorphosis to develop running legs and functional lungs. Question 37. Which two primary elements are alloyed together to produce structural bronze? The correct option is B, copper and tin. Combining copper with tin yields high mechanical strength and corrosion defense, distinguishing classic bronze from brass, which blends copper with zinc. Question 38. What is the brightest star visible in our night sky when viewed from Earth? The correct option is C, Sirius. Possessing an extreme apparent magnitude of -1.46, its brilliant nighttime display stems from high natural luminosity paired with close proximity to Earth. Question 39. Which earthquake scale measures magnitude based on the total seismic energy released at the fault source? The correct option is C, moment magnitude scale. This system measures total physical work output during fault line slippage, rendering it far more accurate than the old Richter scale for tracking massive quakes. Question 40. In which Italian city-state did the intellectual and artistic movement of the Renaissance originate? L. The correct option is C, Florence. During the late 14th century, Florence became the cradle of humanism, fueled by wealthy local patron dynasties like the Medici family. Question 41. Which scientist is known as the father of microbiology for discovering microscopic organisms? The correct option is B, Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Crafting high-magnification single-lens microscopes, he was the first human to observe single-celled organisms, which he termed animalcules. Question 42. What is the primary organic monomer unit that polymerizes to form natural rubber? The correct option is C, isoprene. Natural rubber is composed of long chains of polymerized isoprene, harvested from rubber trees before being processed through vulcanization. Question 43. Which insect order is characterized by having hardened protective forewings called elytra? The correct option is B, Coleoptera. The order Coleoptera comprises all beetles, which use specialized, hardened protective forewings to shield their delicate flight wings underneath. Question 44. Which international treaty, signed in 1987, successfully phased out ozone-depleting CFCs? The correct option is C, Montreal Protocol. This global environmental accord successfully eliminated almost 100 industrial chemical pollutants, allowing the stratospheric ozone layer to heal. Question 45. What physical term describes the rotational analog or equivalent of linear force? The correct option is A, torque. Torque is a vector quantity measuring rotational twisting force, calculated mathematically by multiplying the lever arm length by force applied. Question 46. Who developed the first successful inactivated polio vaccine in 1952? The correct option is C, Jonas Salk. Dr. Salk created the historic injected vaccine using killed viral strains, famously refusing to patent the discovery to accelerate worldwide health eradication. Question 47. Which fundamental principle relates an increase in fluid velocity to a decrease in its static pressure? The correct option is B, Bernoulli's principle. Rooted in the conservation of fluid energy, this rule notes that faster movement yields lower static pressure, providing the aerodynamic basis for wing lift. Question 48. Which swift, warm ocean current flows from the Gulf of Mexico up the eastern coast of North America? The correct option is C, Gulf Stream. This strong current channels warm tropical waters northward across the Atlantic, keeping climates in Western Europe uniquely mild for its latitude. Question 49. Which eukaryotic organelle is responsible for synthesizing lipids and detoxifying metabolic byproducts? The correct option is B, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Free of ribosomes, the smooth manufactures critical lipids and structural hormones while cleansing harmful chemical wastes inside liver cells. Question 50. Which ancient library, founded in the 3rd century BC, was once the largest repository of knowledge in the Mediterranean? The correct option is B. Library of Alexandria. Built under Ptolemaic rule in Egypt, this supreme center of ancient scholarship gathered hundreds of thousands of papyrus scrolls detailing global historical wisdom. And that is day 51 complete. Congratulations on pushing through all 50 questions and sharpening your core conceptual knowledge today. Consistency is exactly how milestones are built, so keep this momentum going day by day. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next challenge.